What's up, guys? We have more reviews for you. Like once again, we said we have a busy weekend.
Yep.
When it comes to wrestling. Here, the guy that you guys already know, John Paul Egg, is back with me, and we're gonna talk about NXT Takeover Cardiff. So we're gonna go.
Good show. If WWE they did the right, Takeover Cardiff was a great show to combat All Out. Was it better than All Out though? We'll find out.
We'll find out. We're gonna review it right now. So we're gonna go right to the matches.
So we had Noam Dar against the Kiwi Buzzsaw.
I think it was a really good match, back and forth. The right match to start the show.
Yeah, Travis Banks and Noam Dar, they're both guys, they can go, they can fly around. It was a good match, tons of good spots. And I was actually surprised that the heel won this, the opening match. But Noam Dar, he was kind of in, floating in nothing on 205 Live.
Yeah,
so it's good to see him come over here, get a win,
It's good to see that his character got revamped. It's
Yeah.
good to see that the guy is able to get a win and actually he's meaning something. He's becoming some kind of an asset for the NXT UK brand.
Yeah.
Whereas in a 205 Live, he was completely lost.
Yeah.
And he lost in the shuffle. Yeah.
Yeah, and he is he's like what does he call himself, like the supernova or something? He's like a total heel. He's like a prick to everybody. He thinks he's better than everybody.
His gimmick is somewhat decent. So if they will utilize him properly.
Yeah, they build off his gimmick, build off this win here. I'd like to see, where he goes from here.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a good opening match.
I agree with you. We're moving forward.
And then the next match, which I wasn't sure, you were unsure who Cesaro was going to go against, and I was excited to see him on the show. People were saying,
it was supposed to be Pete Dunne,
but
they wanted Pete Dunne, but it happens to be this guy.
Dragunov, I'm not sure how you pronounce the first name.
I think it's Elijah, or
Dragunov. I know they said he's Russian, and I've never heard of this kid before, never seen him. Great match, and
they end up stealing the show.
Yeah,
tearing the whole house down.
That was a good match. It was a hard match. I mean, they were laying into each other between the chops and just beating the crap out of
and
each
the
other.
best spot of the night. How many swings?
He swung this kid around 40 times. I mean, it was insane. Watching it, and he got to 20. I'm like, all right, he'll toss him at 25. All right, he'll toss him at 30. And then I'm like, he'll go forever.
he can go forever.
I mean, Cesaro is insane.
But yeah, Cesaro is one guy that is being underutilized for WWE for the longest time. We don't know the reason behind it. They pair him up with Paul Heyman. That didn't go anywhere. This guy, as a singles guy, could be champion in any promotion. But I guess they don't know how to use him.
Yeah, I mean, Vince came out on the Stone Cold podcast
and said, "I don't like him."
He's like, he can't talk, so I don't want nothing.
I don't want nothing to do. And that's probably one of the best wrestlers in your company. Those two gave one of the best matches in 2019 for any promotion. And the guy is a rookie. Dragunov is just a rookie. He was completely unknown by everybody, and they end up tearing the house down. And in the end, Cesaro wins, of course, but it's because he's the guy that needed to win.
Yeah, Cesaro, that's why I like it how it wasn't Pete Dunne, because, Pete Dunne, he lost the UK Championship. He lost for the North American Championship. Pete Dunne he's another one who's kind of untouchable, but he can't really keep losing either.
Yeah,
and Cesaro, in my opinion, he can't lose.
Because he loses a lot on TV.
Especially because it's like, you come over to NXT UK and you're like, I'm looking for a fight, and then you lose. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. You're right. So the right man won. And Dragunov looked strong, and at the end, Cesaro put him over. He gave him a hug, whispered something.
And then Dragunov was crying.
Yeah, and the crowd was cheering.
And you know what took place in this night? A new star has born in Dragunov.
Oh, yeah.
So this guy is going to reach.
The crowd's going to be hot.
It's going to be so hot. And a new star has been born.
And with Cesaro winning, I hope this is kind of a main, maybe his main home, until, I don't know, they said Sheamus is supposed to be coming back soon.
Hopefully we'll see.
Who knows what's up with the bar.
If Cesaro wants to stay there, stay there. Yeah. Because we're gonna touch that point pretty soon. Moving forward to the next match.
And then after that, it was the NXT tag team match, the Grizzled Young Veterans, which that name, Young Veterans, but anyway.
An oxymoron right there.
Yeah. Zach Gibson and James Drake, they defended their tag team champions against Gallows. That's the stable, Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, and then against Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster, who were the hometown boys.
Yeah, I think it was a great match, but something that Brandon or John Paul the Egg mentioned, is it became a spot spot show.
A lot of these tag team matches in NXT I've noticed, and some like it, some might not. It's real spot fest. Lots of big spots, devastating moves. And I was saying to Juan, they hit these devastating, crazy, insane moves, and I'm like, there's no way they're kicking out. That's the end. They kick out, and then they hit their finisher later, and it's like the finisher looks like you're getting hit with a pillow compared to what they,
what this took.
Yeah, what they took 5 minutes ago, and then that pins them. And I understand, it's the finisher, blah blah blah, but that's the thing I don't like about the spot fest, is that it makes things almost unbelievable when the match ends, because it's like, really, that's how they lost? And
to me, it is a way to not protect the finisher, to expose the finisher, because the finisher is called a finisher because it finishes people. So you shouldn't use it unless it's over. Unless it's done.
Yeah, which, I mean, that's what they do, but the finisher, if you're doing a move that is more devastating than your finisher, why wouldn't you have that move be your finisher?
Yeah.
It's weird, and
it's just kind of weird when it comes to those things. But and in the end, we have new champions.
Yeah, they gave it to the hometown boys, Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster.
Mark Andrews is a good wrestler. He was in the inaugural UK tournament to determine the first champion, and we know that he can go.
Oh, so, yeah. And these guys. I mean, everyone in this match, all 6 of them, they're all great, talented wrestlers. They're all, any of those teams I think could deserve to be the tag champs, but these guys maybe in this match weren't as believable. But like I said, they got the hometown rub. All this other stuff going on for that.
Yeah,
it was a feel-good moment.
It's a feel-good moment, like you said. They gave the crowd what they needed. These hometown heroes, they get the win. Something that WWE
behind them.
Don't like to do much, but in this case they did it, and it was good. It was good. It was necessary.
And I would be surprised if they hold the titles for real long. I think it'll be one of those things they hold it for maybe 2-3 weeks, drop it on a
and then somebody better, somebody a little better, or like they just the previous champions will get and they will get the championship back.
I would be surprised if they hold it to the next UK takeover.
I will be surprised. Yeah, I will be surprised. We can see that they will drop the title pretty soon. It was just a feel-good moment. It was like Ryder and Kirk Hawkins winning the championship. That at some point they're going to lose it.
Exactly.
Next match.
Then it was the last man standing match, which this match I really enjoyed.
I think that was your favorite match.
Joe Coffey and Dave Mastiff. I would say it was definitely up there for my favorite. I really liked the Cesaro and Dragunov match. The main event was good. Any of those 3, it was like a toss-up for me.
Yeah, and the last man standing was really good. A lot of they were outside. They did everything that a last man standing should do.
And right from the beginning, they're beating the heck out of each other. And Mastiff throws Coffey into the turnbuckle, and the whole turnbuckle explodes off the thing. And they're looking around both of them sold it. They didn't know what was going on. They're looking what the heck? And it wasn't no Big Show, Mark Henry destroy the whole ring kind of
it's because we're huge. We're going to use the same spot that we've done every single time with 2 huge guys.
But it was a cool thing. He threw him, and then he pulls the pad off the metal coil from the turnbuckle, and he puts it in Joe Coffey's mouth. He's yanking back, and lots of really good brutal stuff. Like I used to, they went to the outside, sets them up with the tables.
And when they did that thing, when they went with each other with the chairs and all of that.
Oh, we did the battering ram when they took it to the outside into the crowd. Yeah, the crowd loved it, and that's what I like seeing when they interact.
Something that we would like to mention from our previous review is you will say this crowd was way hotter than the crowd of Chicago.
Yeah, for AEW, they were hot when the action was going on.
Yeah.
In this show, it was in my opinion, it was nonstop. They were, but I mean, I feel like these fans, they don't really get to see wrestling too often. Like WWE, this kind of production.
Yeah, they don't get to see it much. And like I said, Ryan and I have said that they need more events in the UK.
I think they should do one show in the UK every year.
Yeah.
Even if it's a D-level Clash of Champions, Backlash,
they should have a pay-per-view.
Just have one over there.
And the only reason they don't do it is for time range, the time zone, because it will be in the States. It will have to be a 2 in the afternoon.
Well, that's a whole thing where they shouldn't work these wrestlers 300 days out of a 360.
That's a new episode of Raw Break. It will be should WWE or the wrestling sport should have a on-off season.
Yeah, because I think AEW is doing that. I think they're having a slight off season, they said.
Maybe. So those are things that to keep your wrestlers in good health. But going back to that, at the end of the day, who gets the win?
Coffee gets the win. It was a good spot. I mean, they make their way over to the announce desk. Nigel, I can't even say his name.
Nigel McGuinness.
Yeah, Nigel McGuinness.
Nigel McGuinness.
He, they had to move out of the way. These guys are beating the heck out of each other above the announce table. And they fall, and the crowd's chanting, "Please don't die." And they fall through the table, destroy it all. And then they're climbing up, and they have like these equipment boxes and with wheels on. They're both struggling. I think the refs are like 7, 8. Coffee kicks the box out for Mastiff. He falls. Coffee wins. I didn't think he was going to win here, but like I said, it sets up that maybe he's a number 1 contender. But I don't know if you do 2 heels for the championship.
It might be. You never know.
Yeah, he could just be
heel versus heel. It might be. Yeah.
A win for not too much investment into the feud with him and Walter.
Exactly.
Or something. We'll see what they do.
We'll see what they do.
It was a good match. I mean, they beat each other up, and
it was stiff. It was a lot of European style. Hard shots, uppercuts, punches, but nicely done. A very enjoyable last man standing.
Yeah, this was better than Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman. Take a book out of this page.
Exactly.
Kinda.
If you want to compare the two of you, there you go. Be a good fan and tell us which one you like the most. Okay, don't be a goon and be like Strowman. So there you go, guys. Then we go to the women's UK Championship match that was Toni Storm and Kaylee Ray.
And that was another one that had lots of good story. I mean, a lot of these matches had good stories.
It's because NXT builds good storytelling.
Yeah, they went into the back how Kaylee Ray helped train and kind of even raise Toni Storm. You know, she's known her for almost her whole life. But then she turned heel and all this other.
It was a nice story, to tell everything.
Story.
Yeah, it was a good story.
And the emotion was there. You saw Toni crying in the ring, couple minutes into the match.
He said your father left you, and I was the one that was there for you. And we thought that Toni Storm was going to retain.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I didn't think with all the emotion, she was given that she was going to lose. But they pulled the swerve and
they pulled the swerve, and in the end, Gory special for the ones that don't know. Gory Guerrero is the father of Eddie Guerrero, and that was Chavo's finisher too. That was the Gory Bomb. And Kaylee Ray did that on Toni Storm, and we have a new UK Women's Champion.
And now with Rhea Ripley, she's going over to regular NXT.
Yeah, she's going
with Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, she's going to.
So I wonder who they're gonna have.
If you ask me, it should be. I will badge him for Piper Niven. Piper Niven is such a good wrestler.
Oh yeah.
And she should have an opportunity, or Saya Brookside. Those two are faces, so they will be the contender. Or maybe Toni Storm gets a rematch. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean,
we don't know what's going to happen with Toni Storm. She might go to NXT, regular NXT.
Let's hope she don't go to the main roster.
And let's hope that she doesn't get to the main roster, because what happens when you go to the main roster? You become a member of Titus Catering. Hope then Toni Storm ends up in regular NXT, which it doesn't make, it's not far off, because NXT is going to be on the USA Network, so they're going to need big names. So that's probably why they did it. So Toni Storm actually becomes a regular member of the NXT roster.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be upset with that.
I wouldn't be upset. Well, let's hope that Vince McMahon's hands are not too close to that.
The only
product.
thing, I don't want them to take too many talents away from NXT UK, because then what do you leave them with?
Yeah, then then you gotta keep rebuilding stars, creating.
Unless you're
stars.
going to send, a wrestler from NXT.
And they should do that. To me, they should always swap. They should exchange. For example, Cesaro wants to come over here. Okay, let's send Drew McIntyre. He's British. He's UK. Send Drew McIntyre to have a few matches there. He will be nice.
That could be a Drew McIntyre and Walter.
There you go.
That could be something.
For example, there you go.
But I mean, Drew McIntyre, he deserves to be there.
Well, I mean, if he's going to win it, do that.
Yeah.
That takes us to the main event, which it was for the UK Championship. Walter, the champion, going against Tyler Bate. A match that lasted 45 minutes, almost an hour.
Yeah, it was insane. There were so many times I'm watching this match, and you think, it's going to end here. It's going to end here. And it kept going and going. So, testament to Tyler Bate, his endurance and his strength in this match.
He is a guy that can go. When he needs to go, he goes. He did the same thing with Pete Dunne and NXT Takeover for the UK Championship when he was defending. And to me, he's a great wrestler. The only thing with him is he has some shenanigans backstage. And that's why his pushes have been, just finished. But I think that like when it comes to deliver great matches, he's great.
And that could be with his like a thing with his age. I think he's only 21 or 22
he's-
or something. He's real young. He was 19 when he won the championship for the first time.
Yeah, like he's saying, like he's really product of his lack of maturity.
Yeah.
And for that reason, like he's made mistakes. The backstage are not dwelling, they're not falling too good, and that for that reason he's lost a lot of his pushes. But when it comes to wrestling ability, this guy,
You can't
he
take
hit
nothing away from
all
him.
so great moves. He did the Tyler bomb on Walter.
Yeah.
He did like a move from the top rope, and it was great.
Yeah, but I think he did an exploder suplex or something from
He
the
did an
top rope.
he also did a exploder suplex on it. He the body slam Walter in several occasions. The guy had probably his best match of his career, right?
And they booked it good because every time he hit these finishing moves on Walter, it would either be Walter was out of position or he was near the ropes and Walter just kind of rolled out. It was always like both guys were protected in this match, even though Walter won and he was dominating, but you still made Tyler Bate look like
like $1 million.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the guy still put a great show, and I feel that like if they will have actually another match, I wouldn't be against it.
Oh yeah.
Let's say he challenges again.
The only thing with that is though, I'm the kind of person where if somebody wins clean, then it's done.
You won't go for another rematch, or what will it take?
I would watch it and I would enjoy it, but from the story aspect, to me, it don't make because what reason do you have to challenge him again?
But let's say you win like a battle royal. Let's say
that's
you win
different.
like a number
I'm
one
saying
contender.
but if he shows up on NXT UK next, was that on Wednesdays they have?
Yes.
If he shows up next Wednesday and goes, I want a rematch, I'd be like, get in the back of the line.
Oh well, yeah, you gotta like set up like
But
a reason. Let's say like he wins a battle royal, or let's say he wins like a fatal four-way,
I'd be excited
a
for
five-man
that
fatal war, or like let's say number one contendership match, and then you become the contender again. It will be a good thing for Tyler Bate, but we'll see. I mean, like you were asking me like who's next here, and that's the thing. We don't know who's going to be next.
Yeah, but we were talking, and what we said earlier, I would love to see Cesaro and Walter.
Cesaro and Walter, that will be a match that will be candidate for match of the year. Because those two, and Cesaro can do things to Walter, and Walter can do so many things to Cesaro.
And that's the thing, like I said, to you, who in NXT UK is believable to beat Walter? You have guys like
Nobody.
Wolfgang and, Joe Coffey, Mark Coffey, they're there and they're big and they're believable, but they have their own feuds and this other stuff going on. And like any guy, I could see Cesaro doing it. I mean, he's like, you don't want to use the term smaller. He's not a giant like Walter, but the dude has 0%, like zero body fat. He's 100% muscle. He can do anything to anybody.
Oh yeah, like to me, like when you brought up that point, I was like, you know what? That's the perfect way to go. Get a guy like Cesaro that he deserves to win championships as a single competitor, because the only thing he held was the U.S. championship, but that was like on 2011, 2010. Nobody really cared about him. At that time, he was Antonio Cesaro, but if he becomes UK champion, don't you think that the title is going to become huge on a guy like him? And I'm not saying Walter is not doing a great job, but I'm saying the only guy that it will be believable to beat Walter is a guy like Cesaro.
Yeah, and that's the thing, where I can't see a Tyler Bate beating Walter. I would watch a rematch, but I still think Walter would win. I can't see that kind of...
Can you imagine the Cesaro swing on Walter?
If he picked him up for the swing, the crowd would go insane.
I will say Gorilla Monsoon. There was
the going bananas.
They go going bananas. Yeah.
I could see him spinning him 20 times. You know what I mean? The dude is insane with his strength.
And that's what I mean. Like to me, like is the greatest way to go. Or even if you want to get Drew McIntyre as face and go against Walter, it will be great. Drew McIntyre will enhance that brand so much.
I still have faith that he might do something on the main roster. So I don't know if to pull him yet, but I mean, if they keep booking him the way he does, I'd love to see him.
To me, it's lost in the shuffle because like he was supposed to be the guy that was to take over after Roman Reigns left for the leukemia, and you know what happened?
When he lost to Roman at Mania, that was it.
Yeah, that was it. That was the push has been over. So I mean, do something with McIntyre. I mean, he was the chosen one years ago by Vince McMahon. So if he goes to NXT UK, he will be a really, really big enhance to the brand.
The only thing with that though, I don't want to see a lot of guys from the main roster and stuff go to the NXT UK and then win the championships, because then that looks like, oh well, we had our guys, but you're just gonna bring the WWE main guys and then have them.
It is true
Yeah.
though. It is true. It is true. I will. There's like a lot of good, but there's a lot of bad because it will be, oh, there's no guys in
Yeah.
in the roster that they can be champion. So it could be an alternative. I will say if you want to go that route, it will be nice at least one time. But if
Yeah.
you keep doing it multiple times, then it will be like, so you're telling me
Yeah.
that your roster is
Now,
not
if
good.
Cesaro is a mainstay and he stays on UK and maybe doesn't go back to the main roster, then
They,
you know,
it
yeah.
will make perfect sense. I
Yeah.
agree with your idea.
So overall, what would you rate the show then?
Overall, I want to say I want to put it higher than All Out. I will give it a 9.
I think I would don't know if I'd give it a 9, but I agree that it might have had the slight edge to All Out just because there wasn't as many matches. The matches could tell stories, and not that All Out didn't, but there was just a little too much, and there was some stuff in the card, like the placements of the matches.
The
and
booking, yeah, the match
and some of
placement
them
was a
were
little off.
Yeah.
Was a little off, yeah. And to me, something that you mentioned and you tackled right from the beginning, the crowd was engaged throughout.
Yeah, and when the crowd's in, like when the crowd is hot and the announcers are good. Announcers are good for AEW, but you know Nigel McGuinness.
But Nigel McGuinness and Big Joseph,
Yeah.
they were completely into it. Big Joseph was able to actually represent 100% what Mauro Ronaldo is doing in NXT for regular
Oh,
NXT.
yeah.
So that's something that, for example, is we can actually have some criticism of AEW. That the announcing team is not too great yet.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot better since they got rid of Alex Marvez, but there's no heels on the announced team.
You need a little bit of back and
yeah,
forth.
there's no dynamic. It's
There's no
all-
dynamic,
They're
yeah.
all baby faces that, oh yeah, you know, this is cool, and oh no, not that dastardly heel. Like there's nobody to side with the heel, so it's the announcing is still a little shaky, but it's a lot better. Than
Hopefully they can improve it, so for us to like get invested in the whole thing, because I will say when you hear the calling of a match, and for example you see Big Joseph interested, Nigel McGuinness completely losing it when it came to Walter, when he kept kicking out of so many finishers and so many devastating moves. That gets you in the match.
Oh yeah,
And that's
yeah.
what Ronaldo does. Ronaldo gets you in the match, and that's what Jim Ross always did, is
Yeah,
get you into matches.
Yeah, and it's harder for him to do that now, and
And that's why he went from
Yeah.
being a play-by-play guy to just giving some color commentary. So this ends the review for NXT Takeover Cardiff. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll have more road break for you guys. Keep subscribing to the channel and keep following the page. Keep watching the videos. Thank you for everything. Again, we want to say hi to our friend Ryan. Like I said, he had to be out of this thing because of some medical issues, but we hope you get better.
Yeah, get better.
Get better, and it will be a 3-man next time. It will be the 3 of us. So I want to thank all of you. Have a great Labor Day. Take it easy. Adaaaaaaaa.